Hello, I'm Nick Guida with Tamarack Aerospace Group. We're going to talk about airspeeds today. Atmospheric properties are fluid, changing with altitude, temperature, humidity, and a host of other factors. It's helpful to picture the indicated airspeed as the airspeed based on air molecules contacting the aircraft as it flies through the air. The faster the airspeed of the aircraft, the more molecules will contact or hit the airplane in a certain amount of time, and these molecules create pressure that the pilots can read on the airspeed indicator. Calibrated airspeed can be thought of as corrected indicated airspeed. It's primarily used for calibrating airspeed systems, among other things, but it covers installation errors and extraneous factors that the pilot doesn't actually interact with calibrated that often. Equivalent airspeed is corrected back to sea level standard day at the corresponding altitude. We use this mostly in engineering for load, determination of loads and drag and lift and those type of things. Then there's true airspeed, which everybody knows the most because they like to brag about how fast their airplane is. True airspeed is the actual airspeed of that plane in the air mass in which it's flying. So that is overall how much, if there's no wind, how fast you cover in the ground. So let's talk about true Mach number now. So Mach number we know is a ratio of your airspeed, true airspeed, with the Mach number at that altitude. Mach varies from like sea level all the way up to as high as you want to go based on temperature. An example indicated is different than true Mach 2. Like a CJ3 at flight level 450, its MMO is 0.737, but really it actually goes 0.72 is your true Mach number. To a pilot, the most important factors are indicated airspeed and indicated Mach, because that's what we learn when we're going through our type ratings and those type of things. When it comes to aircraft flying in the atmosphere with so many variables changing, airspeeds start to diverge dramatically from sea level standard day. Air density changes with respect to density. Altitude, for example, like at flight level 450, the density of air is only 19% as dense as sea level, and that's obviously going to change things. The speed of sound varies as a function of temperature, which varies with altitude. Density altitude changes with respect to temperature and pressure altitude. For instance, below 36,086 feet, the change in density altitude is 118 feet per degree EASA. Above 36,086 feet, it's 98 feet per degree EASA. So an example would be on EASA +5 day at flight level 450, the aircraft and its engine operate as if they're flying at flight level 455. An engine produces less thrust at a higher density altitude. When the air density is lower, an aircraft may not have the available thrust to climb or keep up the speed. So on EASA +5 day, that's why you can't sometimes climb and you can't go as fast as you were because the airplane thinks you're a higher altitude. So that's really important aspect when it comes to looking at performance. Overall, the many types of airspeeds are just ways of characterizing the rate of air molecules interacting or hitting the airframe to produce lift and drag. In the three-dimensional world of aircraft operations and the varying atmospheric conditions to which they are subjected on every flight, airspeeds and performance vary accordingly and sometimes greatly. So that's our little lesson on airspeeds today. Thanks for watching, and remember, Tamarack takes you further.